Guys, you are welcome to Catch Up Maths channel. In this class, we shall be looking into the method of solving quadratic equation. If you check out my last tutorial video, we've discussed about the introduction of quadratic equation, where we made mention of the methods of solving quadratic equation, which are found in numbers. We have factorisation method, the use of general formula, the completing the square method, and the last one is graphical method. So in this tutorial, we are going to look into one of the methods we listed in the previous video. Now, one of it is factorisation method. So with these four examples we have here, we are going to use these examples to explain or to see how we are going to make use of factorization. Now, in this question now, we have two quadratic equation and two quadratic expression. The question 1 and question 4 are quadratic equations, while 2 and 3 are quadratic expression. Now let's look into how to make use of factorization method to solve these questions. Now the first question, you have x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equals to 0. Now to solve this kind of question, now don't forget the formula for quadratic equation. The quadratic equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So this is expression of equation of this is called quadratic equation. Now what you have to do is that if you want to solve this question now using factorization method, so you just have to multiply the coefficient of x squared with your constant c, so which is a multiplied by c, and this will give you what? AC. Now whenever you are given a quadratic equation or expression, you just have to multiply the coefficient of the x squared and the constants. Is that taken out? So now the coefficients here are a and c. When you multiply that, you have AC. So your target now is that you have to look for numbers that when you actually multiply together, it will give you what you have here. And when you take the sum, it will give you what? The coefficient of x, which happen to be what? To b. So if you want to make use of this ideology now to solve this particular question, where the coefficient of x squared here is what? 1, and the constant here is 2. So that means by multiplying 1 with 2, that will give us what? That will give us 2. Now, if that is the case, then we have to look for numbers that when you take the sum, it will give us the coefficient of x here, which is what? 3. And fortunately for us, when you multiply 1 and 2 together, this will give us what? This will give us 2. And 1 plus 2 will also give us what? 3. So that means the two numbers are what? 1 and 2. So what you have to do is that anywhere you see 3 in the equation you are given, just change it to what? To be in terms of what? 1 plus 2. Okay? If that should be the case, then this will be x squared plus 1 plus 2x plus 2 is equals to 0. So when you expand this one, this will give us x plus 2x plus 2 is equals to 0. So you are going to break these four terms into two binomial terms. So the first two terms here is what? X squared plus x. The common factor between these is what? X. Then you factorize x out here, you left with 1x, then plus what? 1. After you remove x from this side, you left with 1. Now the remaining last two terms, which is 2x plus 2. The common factor here is 2. When you factorize out 2, then you left with x and what? 1 is equals to 0. So you have x plus 1 here, x plus 1 here. You don't have to bother yourself since they are both the same. You just have to pick 1, which is x plus 1 out of it. Then the outside factor, which is what? X plus 2 is equals to 0. And whenever you are given an equation of something like this, you have to find x, where x is the unknown variable. So to obtain the value for x now, this is just like product of two numbers that will be giving you what? That will result to 0. Okay, now logically, now when you are multiplying two numbers together that will give you 0, definitely one of the numbers must give us what? Must give us 0. That is, there is no number that we are going to multiply together, that you are going to multiply together that will give you 0, except if one of the numbers is equals to what? Is equals to 0. So that is why you can now say that x plus 1 is equals to 0, or x plus 2 is equals to 0. So that is x is equals to minus 1 now, or x is equals to minus 2. So by implication, minus 1 and minus 2 are the values of what? Of this equation. So that is the solution to the first question. Now let's look at the second expression now, the second question. where you have 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. Please, I don't need to repeat this again because I've said it in my first video that whenever you have something like this, we don't have equal sign in this side. So this is called quadratic expression, not equation this time around. Now, using this method now, you just have to multiply this together. You have 2 multiplied by 2, and this will give us what? 4. And 2 plus 2 will also give us what? 4. So that means we are going to make substitution for 4 to be what? 2 plus 2. So that is 2x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 2 now. So the first 2 terms now, the common factors here is what? 2x. Then you left with x. After you remove 2x out of it, you left with x. Then plus 2x divided by x will give us 1. Plus what is the common factor here as well? 2. Then you have x plus 1. So x plus 1, you pick 1. Then you have your what? 2x and your what? Plus 2. So you don't need to equate this one to 0. So this is the solution to that. Now question 3, the third question, where you have x squared plus 5x plus 6. This is also quadratic expression. Now the coefficient of x squared here is 1. So when you multiply that with 6, that will give us 6. So definitely we are looking for product of two numbers that when you multiply it will give us 6, and the sum will give us what? Will give us 5. So the only thing you just have to do is that find the factors of 6. That is the only thing you need to do. That is those numbers that when you multiply together, it will give you what? It will give you 6. So the numbers that can actually give me 6 is what? 1 multiplied by 6 is 6. Minus 1 multiplied by minus 6 will also give me 6. 2 multiplied by 3 will give us 6. Minus 2 multiplied by minus 3 will also give us what? 6. Okay, let's take the sum and let's see which one will eventually give us 5. So 1 plus 6 here will give us 7. Minus 1 minus 6 will give us minus 7. Then 2 plus 3 here will give us what? 5. And minus 2 minus 3 will give us minus 5. So when you look at this, this is where we have 5. So that means we can only make use of 2 and 3 to get 5 when we take the sum. And 2 multiplied by 3 will also give us what? Will also give us 6. So we just have to replace 5 here with what? 2 plus 3. So now the equation will now become, the expression now become x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. So in the first 2 terms now, you factorize out x, then you left with x plus 2. In the last 2 terms, 3x plus 6, you can only factorize out 3 out here, then you have x plus 3 in 6 will give us what? 2. So now x plus 2, I've made mention of this before. You pick one out of it, then you have your what? X plus 3, and which is the solution to that question. So you can just keep this video and solve the last question. Okay, let's continue. The last question, which is the quadratic equation, we have x squared minus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. So the two numbers here that will give us, product of two numbers that will give us 6, and the sum will give us minus 5. Let's look at this side. We've had something like this before. Minus 2 minus 3 will give us 6 when you take their product, and minus 2 minus 3 will give us minus 5 when we take the sum. So now this will give us x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6 is equals to 0. So we look for the common factor in the first 2 terms, which is x. So if you factorize out x, you have x minus 2. If you factorize out minus 3 here, you have x minus 2 as well. And this is equals to 0. X minus 2 now is equals x minus 2 and what? X minus 3 is equals to 0. I've told you before that whenever you have product of two numbers that will give you 0, that must, one of the numbers must give us what? 0. That is x minus 2 is equals to 0, or x minus 3 is equals to 0. So that is x is equals to 2, or x is equals to 3. So I believe that with these 4 examples, you are going to, I believe that you have understood how to make use of factorization method to solve quadratic equation. So please don't forget to drop your comments, like and subscribe. So in my next tutorial video, we are going to continue from this side, and the next subtopic to be treated is the use of general formula. Thank you.